Hello, and
Good afternoon, everybody.
yes,
We have our lovely hostess, Donatella C, Miss Ayana C, who's also lovely and beautiful, and our special guest today, Brother Jerry. I call
yes.
him
And
Brother
let me
Jerry.
say I thought you were gonna finish, and let me say that Jerry and Bub are also handsome. We have a very good-looking panel. I
Very
and
good looking show.
super
Let
diverse.
I want to run a quick clip promo for the show that I really love. So let's have that. For your wonderful video.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You look very dashing. I don't know
All right, there goes Miss Ayana.
if you're
Yeah,
Quite lovely.
that's nice.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, how is everybody's week going so far?
Mm, I'm doing well.
You're
I'm
doing well.
doing very, very well.
Can
God's
we all
grace.
hear each other well? Can we hear each other well?
Mic check, mic check.
yes.
You're fine. I hear you fine.
Thank
So,
you.
so today's show we have a special guest in the house, Brother Jerry Kwabena Adinkra, who is a very, very close friend, family member of our Pan Africanist agenda here in New York City. And I was introduced to Brother Jerry through my lovely brother Jonathan, as just about everyone I know in New York City.
Yeah.
my and at the time when I met Brother Jerry, well, we've known each other a long time, but the what brought us close was when he had an event at Amarachi where we were discussing the year of return for African Americans to be able to visit Ghana and seek permanent residency, but also it was a big party, big festivity where Ghana rolled out their best to show you that they have arrived and that their country is ready to accept and ready and willing to accommodate anyone willing to come there. So it was a very successful event, and we were very excited, because we're trying to do the same thing in Nigeria, and we feel right now Ghana is a little bit ahead of us.
Mhm.
And Brother Jerry was very instrumental in creating that uh, program. So here we are. So from that time on, we've been moving and discussing ways we can improve the travel situation in Africa, improve tourism in Africa, because Africa is our home. You know, at the end of the day, as they say, East West home is always the best, and we feel for all Black people that Africa is our maternal home, our paternal home, and one day we should all return back um, as the first class citizens we are. You know, because in this country has a funny way of making you feel that hey, listen, you're always gonna be in that second class.
Yes,
Nothing you
you're
can do.
expendable.
It's not
Right.
you remember the what was it the governor of Massachusetts or the mayor that the police came to his house and was disrespecting him. I mean, a whole elected official. So this country, like I said, I don't know if they will ever see us as first class citizens, but
Mm,
we know Africa, when we get there, not only are we first class, we are celebrities. So
yes.
we want to definitely carry that message on. So
Right.
I open the floor to you, ladies. I'm gonna go get my headphones real quick so I can hear my audio a little bit better. I'll be right back.
I
Thank you.
Hi, I think because I know you very well, Jerry, we've communicated, participated in functions in Amarachi. For our
Hmm.
viewers, though, I think Bub gave an excellent introduction of your history and the importance of the travel to Ghana. But why don't you start off the show by introducing us so that Ayana and I can kind of concentrate or gear the show afterwards.
Thank you very much, my sister Donatella, all the hosts, my brother Bobby from another mother, my sister Ayana. It is my distinguished honor and privilege to call upon this prestigious show at Amarachi Studios. And I brand Amarachi as a hub,
Yeah.
as a hub for West Africa trading between the Americas and the continent,
Hmm.
so to speak, because there are so many things going there, not just going there to just eat African food and stuff like that. You meet different class of people who are breaking down deals, who are networking each other, who are, sharing ideas, talking about changing the narrative and stuff like that, that he mentioned earlier on. When we go back home, we are kings and queens. But when we are here, how did they brand us? So beyond the 400 years, this is the time to change the narrative. Hey, guys, Black people, we are more resilient. We will bounce back irrespective how other people try to position us. So once again, it's my distinguished honor and pleasure to join you, such a great host. Thank you so much.
I think that was awesome. I don't know if you caught it, but you made a good point that Amarachi is a place where you feed both your body and your soul. And because of this unity with Amarachi is how I actually connected with our co-host Ayana, who if she doesn't mind, she's an amazing person as well. And I feel like you haven't had the pleasure to meet her in person unless you met her at the birthday party that I slept through because I was so angry. So I don't know. I know I've heard.
No.
No, I turned the party out the night before.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, it was a spectacular Friday and Saturday at Amarachi.
Well,
Look, if it wasn't my birthday party on Saturday, I probably wouldn't have made it. I was so tired. I was so exhausted. I fell asleep. I ran home to take a quick nap. I woke up at 9:33 and I said, "Man, listen, why did I even decide to have this party?
Because it's your birthday,
oh
man.
my God, I was so exhausted."
and
But
like
I went and threw some very, very hot water on my face and said, "I gotta go." So
and I went to my best friend's gender reveal for her daughter and soon to be probably son-in-law, and I got back from Jersey at 9:30 and I said, okay, the flyer said 10:30, let me lay down for 30 minutes. I laid my clothes out and everything, and Ayana, I woke up, it was 6 a.m. I was mad, and I set alarm and everything, but my body just didn't hear it.
Let me say this. I left my voice in
No.
Amarachi.
Oh, nice.
Because we rocked out, and whether it was Afro beats or hip hop, old school, we ate well, we drank well, we were serviced well.
fantastic.
We had a ball. So it was. Somebody told me it hadn't been jumping like that in a very long time, and people were getting to go food, and they saw us on the dance floor, and they was like, "Nah, let me get on the dance floor with them." Like we just. So when you say a hub, the people who were there were from Dallas and from Atlanta. So and they were the food. I mean, it was just it was great. I know we're not supposed to talk about your spot, but
No, please do.
if you come to Brooklyn, I'm like, Lord, keep this place open, just because my friends like, I gotta go back. So it was great. The service was wonderful. Our waitress was, oh my gosh, like so. It was well worth it. And so we sang, we did all this over the music. So my voice is just coming back. I was like, can I talk? Yeah. So it was great. It was great.
Well, you sound great. I wanted you to take an opportunity just kind of to explain to Jerry. So when he gives his examples of the importance of Ghana, he understands this is a package deal. He's already in love with Bub, but he's got to bring you and I as well. And you're going to bring your whole crowd too. I wanted him to know who you were also.
That's fair. It's funny. The birthday girl we were celebrating, she turned 50 and she and her husband will be celebrating 25 years. Well, they're taking 4 trips, 1 trip a quarter. And
Mm.
one of the trips is international. And she was like, we're thinking about going to Africa. And when people say Africa, I'm like a little bit more specific, like what country? Like, can you please? And she was like, well, Egypt is an option. I was like, and she said, maybe South Africa. So we started talking. I was like, well, maybe look at getting a deal where you get to go to Ghana and then somewhere else, go to see where the ships left and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I hadn't thought about it that way. And I was like, because you're going to be there at least 10 days. That's not like a weekend trip. That's not Vegas. You got to go and you got to stay for a little while. So I'm in the midst of trying to help her figure what part of the continent of Africa she wants to go to, because you don't get to see the whole thing.
It also depends on the time of year, because what I discovered, and I can't wait to do again, and it might have been because it was Ghana's year of rebirth, but from what I understand, a lot of people go to Nigeria first doing the Christmas holiday, and then for the new year, they go to Ghana. And I'm talking about so many beautiful people, so much partying. That's actually what I wanted to do this year. I don't know if the imaginary Santa or somebody's going to come through for me or not, but if she's thinking about Ghana, you're that close, we might as well hit Nigeria as well.
Like I said, Ayana, if they're doing Ghana, you
They
have
gotta
to talk
do-
to brother. You
that's-
got to talk to brother Jerry. If
That's
you're doing
good.
Nigeria, you got to talk to yours truly. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
send them
I will
over.
make sure.
We'll take
So
care
wait a
of
minute.
them.
Is the summertime okay? Our summertime. 'Cause we're not-
Anytime.
Anytime.
is okay.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay.
But I meant
That's where
for me, I'm
Just
I'm
think of Africa
partying.
like where you are. We don't have any snow. It's summer all
Okay.
the time.
Because she's
They
an
have a rainy
educator.
season and a dry season, but it's
just don't go during the rain season.
Which
no,
is
you can't help it. It's summer.
it's summer.
It rains-
Yeah, because I was
listen,
like,
Florida. It rains every day in Florida. Right?
once it rains for a little while and then it
Oh,
stops.
It
Yeah.
stops,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I will definitely. When I saw what the topic was, I was like, "How divine is that? Like, are you serious?"
So, brother Jerry, I want to pass it back to you. I want you to give us a little bit of education on the year of return to Ghana, and what that was all about.
Thank you once again, Brother Bobby, and the host and the audience listening to us well. I really like the name of the show, the journey from Lagos to Brooklyn.
Yes.
But I would like to chip in a little bit, the journey from Lagos,
So
transit Accra before Brooklyn.
no
You
problem.
understand?
That is well accepted, well received.
Exactly. Why do I say that? West Africa is the economic power in the whole of the entire continent. And sometimes we need to understand the seasons and the time.
Yes.
We all know the year 2019 was beyond 400 years when our ancestors were captured and brought here in chains and all that. So I think the bill was passed in Washington, and based on the tri-Atlantic slave trade, Ghana was a big shore where the slaves were, transit, and by the end of the day, they shipped them here to Americas and other parts of the world. So our president was here 2019 September to declare the year of return. And Ghana has successfully in history by hosting the year of return. So what is next? It's now beyond the return. So, and we all know there are so many things that we were planning from Brooklyn to Ghana and West Africa too as well. Some of the politicians, elected officials, the business people, we discussed a lot of things. And some of them were right there at Amarachi. That's where we were breaking the case. Yeah, so we were able to engage a lot of people. The records are there. That, something has to evolve from Brooklyn.
Yes. So,
lo and behold, the year of return has been very, very successful. I'm glad my Kente Festival was endorsed. And recently, this year, September 23rd, the tourism minister, Honorable Dr. Awal, Minister of Tourism, the CEO behind the Year of Return, Ghana Tourism Authority, they were in Brooklyn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Brooklyn has now become the hub of the Year of Return.
And makes sense because we are the most diverse borough out of all the boroughs in New York City.
Not
Thank
only
you
New
so
York City,
much for that record.
I think the whole country. I think Brooklyn.
Yes.
Brooklyn. You know, I did a TV. I shot some TV segments yesterday with a lady who's working with the owners of the Barclays,
Oh,
the
nice.
owners of the Brooklyn Nets. And one of the things she was telling me, she's into big marketing and promotion. Obviously, she's with the Brooklyn Nets. She was saying that right now, Brooklyn is hot. Is the hottest ticket. No one wants to have an event unless it's in Brooklyn. She said she considered Harlem to do an event, but she was like, it just doesn't have the same panache, you know, that Brooklyn has. So people
We-
looking,
I think
to have
we are.
events in Brooklyn.
I think we are the most heavily branded borough as well. And, you know, we can give some of that to gentrification. If you count the amount of new businesses that have started since, let's say, 2015, 2017, that start with Brooklyn, whatever, Brooklyn Eats, Brooklyn Beats, you know, clothing to food. And with the cultural events that we have, especially this past weekend, there was just a big, huge Ghana concert on the 23rd. You know, there's so much. I think it's so. I want to say since the pandemic, there's a brand that I saw today, and it's actually called Hella Black. Very, very prominent artist that's out, and that's his new album and what he's doing. But everything now, with all we've been through, is hella black, and also tying into everybody wants to be associated with some part of Africa. You know, I feel like America went through its growth where, oh, my grandmama's mama on my cousin's side is Jamaican or is from Haiti. You know, they did that love affair with the Caribbean, and now it's gone over to, you know, our cousins, as I say, that the Africans. Everybody.
I think part of that is also because of you may agree or may not, but DNA testing and ancestry and
very
me plus 23 and all that. So because of course some of us a little older, Africa wasn't like cool when I was growing up.
The Caribbean, and that's why I said that. Not when I
it wasn't cool. It was like the Ethiopian refugee, and it was all these negative things when I was a kid. You know, you saw people with flies and blah blah blah. So it was like, you know, no. And then now you get to see, you know, because we're Black Americans, we didn't know where we were from in Africa, so we couldn't say I'm Nigerian American, and I don't go by African American. I'm sorry, I don't want to carry a whole continent and a whole country. That's crazy to me. Like that is absolutely bananas. So I think when you say it's in now, it's in because people can actually associate it with something. They can say, here we go. Like I did, like Nigeria was the highest one, and then all of a sudden Cameroon came back up. So it keeps changing because they keep moving and moving and moving. So that I feel is a very important reason why people are like, oh, and then it's gotten a lot easier to get there, and you get to see more than what the movie showed, huts and stereotypical stuff.
That's attributed with social media and the use of the internet. And for a lot of people, you know, Zoom for us probably has been around for like 100 years, but you have a certain demographic that only discovered it because of the pandemic. And so I feel like with Black Lives Matters and a whole bunch of things, whether you're on board with them or not, there is this, you know, the term they use, wokeness, right? Where people are trying to associate themselves with a past because also they're so frustrated and angry with what's happening here. You know, like, how can we be treated so bad? Oh, this is why we really aren't from here, you know.
it's also the other thing that is happening is that entertainment is becoming or is huge on the continent of Africa in different countries. So now it's not where in the past we were, subjected to whatever they chose to feed us,
Yes.
and they weren't feeding us positive views of it. And now they're like the music, Afro beats. I didn't know what that was.
Unbelievable.
Right.
I didn't know.
Unbelievable.
I was like, what is that? I don't understand. But then when you look at the dancing and all the stuff that's in Africa, and then you come and look at what's in the videos in the United States, you're like, pause. They've been doing that.
Let's be clear. I took African dance in college. They have always been stealing culture from.
That's I was like, what are we talking about? Like, y'all talking about? I made this up? Nah, son. Go look back over there. So it's you got it, and we've been lost. That's the other part. We're looking for something to gather ourselves with. When you said the Caribbean, well, we just didn't appear in the Caribbean. It's going to say on your DNA thing, it's going to say communities in Jamaica, but the majority of it is going to be on West Africa. It's going to go
Ghana, exactly.
So, but okay, go ahead, Bub. I'm sorry.
No. Everything you guys are saying is
This is very, very interesting.
Everything you're saying is 100%. I mean, I want to thank these young stars like Wizkid, Davido, Thames, Tiwa Savage,
Burna
Boy that are transporting our music and culture and that beat and that rhythm that our soul is so familiar with. And I think that's the most important thing that's connecting us. People, something in your spirit is drawn, and it's undeniable.
We all have those drums.
Exactly. It's undeniable. Yeah, you connect with it. And it feels good and it makes you feel good. So it's no surprise that this music and this movement is doing so well. But I also want to just go historical a little bit. Brother Jerry, Ghana was the first of our countries to gain independence, I think in 1957, if I'm not correct. And Brother Kwame Nkrumah was a leader of that movement. And when I was living in Nigeria, the president was Jerry Rawlings, and he was a very powerful president. And I just kind of want you to give us your feelings about those two great African leaders, because right now I think Africa needs leadership, needs a vision, and these were two men that had very strong visions and passionate about what they wanted, and were very successful in achieving that. So I just wanted you to give us some background as a Ghanaian, how you feel about them and how important they were to our country.
Yeah, thank you so much, brother Bobby, once again. First and foremost, anytime I would like to talk about Kwame Nkrumah, I get more emotional, and I apologize to him wherever he is. Why do we kill our own? Yeah, why do we kill our own? Why do we sit down for somebody to use me against my brother Bobby?
Absolutely.
Whilst we are one people. Why do I say that? When you go back to the history and the records in 1963, and when Ghana being the first sub of the Sahara country to have independence, and it said one thing, the independence of Ghana is meaningless until the total liberation of the whole continent. Because Africa is one. Africa is one. It was through this conference in Berlin, the Berlin Conference, that they share Africa among themselves. That's why we are so divided. So in 1963, according to the records, he wept before African leaders. That let us unite, else we will be colonized again. The dream of Africa. Absolutely. How many years now? Kwame Nkrumah speaking. We're still talking about African unity.
The same thing.
The most certain, we wake up 3 days ago, there is a coup d'etat.
Oh, wow.
Just in 6 months ago, about 4 coup d'etats, or I think 3 or 4, if my records are right. In this 21st century, then Kwame Nkrumah is a prophet. He is a prophet. He is dead and gone. but its vision is still alive. And that is what we are tapping in. So being the richest continent, we have all the resources. Even when I look at a country like Morocco, I was able to have a meeting with their tourism minister 5 years ago. All that they have in Morocco is tourism. And it has made the country so beautiful. So looking at somebody like Kwame Nkrumah, we all know that, there were some forces beyond the coup d'etat that he was overthrown. And since then, we can't find Africa. We haven't found a leader like him anymore. In 20th century, look at what he's doing. The Chinese are taking over all the continent.
Well, they're doing that here also.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's very, very disgusting. And sometimes you think about it, like, what can we and Bobby, Donatelli, Ayana do? We can be able to do something. Why did I say that? Because Nkrumah was here. He was able to sit down with great leaders, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, and they were able to share a great wisdom from them, from those leaders. And now we are here beyond 400 years. What have we achieved? What can we do to benefit where we come from? And as I said earlier on, my first time I come to Amarachi, the street is called Bridge Street. Then we are bridging the gap from Brooklyn to Ghana. So that brought me more distance. I said, come on, this place is not just a place like that. This is a place that we have to network to change the narrative.
Absolutely.
And I said it like almost 6 years ago. Lo and behold, come November 4th, the whole Ghana tourism industry is coming to Brooklyn to launch Destination Ghana management. What can we do? Like great people like our hostess sitting down here, my sister Donatali, who carries a lot of information, professionalism, her wisdom, Brother Bobby, Sister Ayana, and others that we encountered with. So all that I would say about Nkrumah first invited the diaspora to come and help him. Du Bois, a friend of mine recently during the General Assembly was able to get investors to redevelop Du Bois Center. And the history was the last place Du Bois lived, W.E.B. Du Bois, the man behind the Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
He lived in Brooklyn. He went to Ghana to settle for gold.
That's beautiful.
So that's the history. So Nkrumah was here, engaging all these great heroes. That's why his wisdom was able to grow like that. And from there, when he was overthrown, ladies and gentlemen, during our school days in early 70s, there is no Nkrumah good books to read about.
Nothing.
We destroyed our own.
Yep.
And now Nkrumah is celebrated all over the world. Although he have his bad side, every leader, you can't be perfect. You may have your bad side. Here we are, and you also talk about Rawlings. I don't want to talk much about Rawlings' issue. He came in as a revolutionist. But what I like about him, that I cherish him, I salute him, may God bless his soul, he was able to pass on power to another leader. Let's see some of the African leaders. They've been in power for 40 years. What do you want?
Sound like United States Senate and Congress.
Yes.
You're right. So this is what I will talk about, these two great leaders. But all that I will say, Ghana is doing well in terms of democracy. Ghana has been able to pass the baton from one leader to another leader through democratic rule. So that is one thing I really, really want to talk about Ghana when you talk about the Rawlings regime from Nkrumah era to Rawlings era. And Rawlings also during his time did the same thing by subsidizing our tourism. That's why we have, I forget about the name right now, every 2 years, every other year, we have another one. And His Excellency Akufo-Addo, When you read about the statistics, the revenue alone is about $1.3 billion and stuff like that. We all know the year of return. So that is what we are all talking about. And we talk about West Africa, East and the North, because we have all the blocks and they're all trying to come collectively. And we know the African Free Trade Office too is in Ghana, West Africa. So you could feel that something is happening. There is divine shift in the air for Black people, because we never thought like an agreement will come like, hey, African is going to have a free trade. That's a very powerful act, because I know Nigeria is trading with Ghana. Nigeria is huge. So when we get into their market, although they are big, but we have the skills. That's why we always beat them in soccer. And they never understand.
Wow.
So that's what I will say over there. So.
Power move.
Donatella is aware of that.
Jerry, today's your day. I'm not contesting anything. Even if you want to say Ghana Jollof is better today, I will let it go.
Donatella is aware of that.
I will let it go. Today's your day.
That is funny. You know, you
and come November 4th. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I said you're giving us all this heavy, serious commentary, and then you break the ice with the laughter, which is great.
Body blow. We're better than you in soccer.
During the pandemic, I actually watched a so-called competition between the Ghana Jollof and someone in Nigeria, and they were two people who were in the UK doing the competition. Okay. And I believe they gave it to the person from Ghana, and the comments underneath.
Oh yes,
that Nigerian who made the jollof.
They know what they were doing.
Camel, because he wasn't from Nigeria.
I want to say something about. Well, first of all, you gave us so much stuff I'm totally new to, but I'm a historian by nature, and that's my degree. And I have to say that I got a little work to do. But there is this book I read. It was called Homegoing. I cannot remember. Just look it up. And her last name is African last name, but it started out in Africa when we were kings and queens, and how the colonists came in and how they left out through the port of Ghana, and it was like two families and sisters, and they were given these stones. It was a great book, but I saw everything. I saw the yams. I saw all of the things that they were saying. They would go to market and they would walk forever to get there, and you know, things of that nature. And I think that because Black Americans cannot grasp that concept. But here's the other part about Black Americans. A lot of them, I'm a historian, so I don't get tired of it, but a lot of Black Americans are tired of slave movies. And you know, they're tired of all these other things. They were like, well, why don't we see ourselves in other light? Well, do you support that? Would you support that? You know, not the Wakandas of the world, because of course we're going to support fictional stuff, but are you going to support real things? Because that's where your question was, how do we change the thought process? How do we do this? It has to start with education, and it can't be school education. It could be entertainment, but it has to be something that is relevant, something that is real, and it gives the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think we get caught up in a whole lot of different parables, or you know, well, I heard this, I heard that. And here's I have my own travel company. And it's crazy when a lot of us will be like, oh, we're going to go to Europe. Oh, we're going to go to Dubai. Oh, we're going to go over here. Oh, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, and it does cost to go, you know, to the continent of Africa, but you're going to go look where you can't talk about the colonists only. I'm not telling you where to spend your money, but I'm saying balance that out. Like,
but I think that's because you have to have, and not you, right? So I think people, my stepfather is a historian as well. And so when you're dealing with someone with that type of intellect, or someone who took actual Black studies or African studies when they were in high school or college, is very different from the person who first struggles to identify that their great grandfather's grandfather was actually a slave. Because you do have Black Americans who just don't want to hear their part of their history or acknowledge it. Not to mention, there's this terrible saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but they have to unlearn all of the negative connotations that are attributed toward Africa and those different parts. And for me, it's something that I realized in person during my trip to Nigeria. I mean, for me, some of the biggest things, and I say it every time I have this type of conversation. I took a connecting flight from New York to Nigeria, and it changed planes in Paris. And so the first thing I realized was some of the things I've heard people say to me. I've always been like a teacher's pet, so I got straight A's all through high school in French, but I can't write or do anything. I can respond. So when we changed planes, I wasn't even sure where to go to get my plane, but common sense told me that Connection looked like that might be where I found my transfer. But the most surreal point for me, and I'm telling you, it was so amazing. When I went to transfer to the connecting flight that was going to Nigeria, there were a lot of Nigerians waiting to board the plane. And this was on Air France. And I just realized how American, or how much I don't know about culture. When I looked at them, and the first thing I said was, oh, they're all dressed up in their garb. And then I had to check myself and be like, we're in Nigeria, that's how they dress every day. Right? So that's the first thing. But for me, it was their body language that first caught my eye. And I thought about what I think, if I close my eyes and I say, what does a Black American look like to me? I'm thinking the latest shoes, stilettos or sneakers. I'm thinking blue jeans, usually, right? Maybe a blazer. But when I watch them, and the slouching and the hanging pants, right? That's the stereotype that's out there for Black Americans. But when I watched them in their garb and how erect and poised, it was a feeling to see, right? And even when I landed in Nigeria, it was just a whole different thing to hear all these languages and see all these complexions. And my mother told me, they lived in Kenya for like 3 years, back around 2005. I remember my mother writing me and saying, and someone from her time in Memphis, Tennessee, and seeing cotton fields, for herself, seeing so many beautiful Black people, nicely dressed. And she said, she specifically talked about their tiny waists and how curvaceous women are and how it's welcome and you don't feel uncomfortable. It just was, I get chills just thinking about it. I think if every Black American or every person of color has that journey to Africa, they will come back with so much empathy and also so much regret for the crazy stuff that they thought before, that we would live in a different environment. We wouldn't be so likely to maybe run out to the corner and kill our brother over, a pair of sneakers.
You guys are making such amazing points. I have barely said anything today, and I think that's a good thing. But I do want to add to the conversation. Yesterday, I was having a meeting with a developer who used to work with BlackRock, and if as you know, BlackRock pretty much owns America. They are invested in everything. So basically, we were discussing education and developing systems of education, especially now. There was a study that said that there are 150,000 kids that are unaccounted for since the pandemic that have left the classroom. So where are these kids and what are they learning? You see, that there's a whole nother issue going on that we're not even talking about, because right now we're fixated on this vaccine and all that stuff. But there's 150,000 kids that are out of the school system. So it's a tremendous opportunity if you're an educator, if you're a Pan-Africanist, right? If you have a system where you can now bring these kids in and teach them, so they don't have to unlearn. You teach them from young, from kindergarten, grade school.
Right.
I agree with that.
Teach them the math, the social studies, the geography, the proper history,
And
um,
they can
and,
teach them
give them
pride.
in the proper context. Because I think the thing that's going to fuel all of this, the thing that's going to make this world better for us, is when we find a piece of Africa that we can attach to, that empowers us, that makes us feel special, like you said, that makes us feel amazing, that makes us feel dope. Because for so long, Africa has been a stain. Africa has been something you are ashamed of. And this is even among Africans that come here and change their name from, you know, Oluwatosin to T. You
Yeah.
know, there's a meaning in your name. That's why you were given that name. You're supposed to manifest that, and you abandon it and throw it away to be this other thing because you think this other thing is so much greater than what you originally are. So it's our job,
But you,
yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry, you just said names. I
yes,
love how other countries carry names. I
yes.
cannot stand that in America, a woman is supposed to drop their given name, their father's name, and put on.
It's not
I,
so much. It's not just America. Just remember, we live in a patriarchal world. This entire world,
but
I
so
think Ghana is one of the only countries, right? If correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually roll with your mother's name.
no, Dominican Republic.
So see, look at that.
My
So
father's name is Hugo Cabrera Lora. Lora is my
Yeah.
grandmother's last name.
wow, wow.
Ghana
So
TV
So
go with the
with the
father's name.
maternal, yeah, yeah. So it's just how the world was built, and it's important that this is our opportunity to do something about all of that, especially if we're going to take charge in the education and the future of our children.
The
This is
bass
the
in the
time.
music is starting to overpower your voice, Bub.
All right, let me hold on 1 second.
because I'm about to jam.
I mean, I love it, and I feel like I want to
How
break
about
out.
that? How about
I was doing that's what I was doing. I was like, I can't
Yeah.
help it.
Yeah,
I tell you, I am music. I live for music, and,
yeah,
and furthermore, I think that's one of the passions that me and Jerry share. You know, we can tell it. We can tell you about Africa till we're blue in the face, but until you visit, until you experience it, because Africa is going to mean something different to every single person. But the most important thing is you have to go there, and we know when you go there, there's no way you come back the same person. There's no
yeah,
way.
yeah,
There's no way. It's
yeah,
going to affect you. It's going to touch you. It's going to change
yeah.
your perspective, your life.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
For the better, for the greater.
Yeah,
And the biggest thing is Africa needs us. You know, for lack of a better term, let's call ourselves Americans. Africa needs us Americans to come to Africa and fix it and show them how to have health inspections, show them how to do city planning, show them how to increase the to sanitize and
All the
sanitation.
things that we take for
All the
granted
things we
here.
take for granted here are things that are so essential in Africa because we just the way we did things were different. But now in a modern world, there's some things that we can bring.
Bub, that music is getting really out of control. It's gotten worse. Sorry. And I have ADD.
yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very interesting point that Brother Bobby is making.
How about now? Is it better?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
I think it kicks in depending on the song that's
Yeah,
playing.
it does. It does. It does.
Yeah.
But just to transition real quick, I wanted to talk about New York City elections. We have our brother Eric Adams coming up, um,
Yes,
and
that's
one of
Tuesday.
and brother Jerry is very close to brother Adams, and I want him to discuss um, what are the objectives that we're looking. Because look, it may be the first time we actually have a black mayor that we have access to. I know David
And whose
Dinkins, but that was
opponent?
before my time. That was before my time. But
And,
my
and the
contemporaries were
opponent
not
is
around
not an
David
option.
Dinkins.
The opponent has been nicknamed. I can say it. You can't say it, Jerry. But the opponent has been nicknamed Baby Trump.
No, he
Mm.
is. He is. He is.
He's
But
definitely
but but
Baby
but, but
Trump.
I'm like I told y'all last week. I'm being completely honest with you. And I love Eric Adams, right? I tuned in, and I'm gonna drop the mic for you guys very shortly. I tuned in to simply find out if these mandates were going to continue,
Mhm.
because they're literally destroying our business. Monday through Friday until the weekend comes, we're seeing there's no way I can keep my staff. There's just no way. So my establishment is gonna close.
Please turn that music off.
Hold on, hold on. That's some
I'm
house.
sorry.
All right.
The Aries in me can't take anymore.
So got it. So got it. So it's very the mandates are extremely important. I can't my the solution is not to force, is not to put people in concentration camps. We just need to drop it. Period. Because there are other societies that don't have it and they're fine. So I don't understand why New York City, the only city that has these ridiculous amounts, and maybe California has to have them.
Well,
So,
travel
so hold
travel
on, so hold
plans.
on. So a person like me, if I lived in New York City, I probably would vote for Curtis Lewa. And Democrats have to be aware of that. They think that this mandate, they're in the plus, but they don't know how motivated people are against it. People are protesting every day throughout New York City against this thing. And
Mhm.
that may swing the vote. And we may be in for a surprise. But like I said, I love Eric Adams, and I wish he didn't say what he said. I wish he didn't um, promise
But
to keep this thing going.
he has to be honest and transparent, because if
Like
elected,
I said, if I wish he didn't, that whether it's he's honest or transparent, it doesn't line up with my life, my livelihood, and I choose my
okay,
life over a political party.
as
And
you should, I imagine, maybe.
so, so let's talk about that a little bit. But that's my opinion on the election. I hope he wins. I wish him the best. But
Mhm.
the other option, like I said, like I told y'all before, I've already started
Florida.
looking at restaurants in Florida. I've already started looking at homes in
Mm.
Florida. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Look, so just so you know, Dallas has a very high. They just said like the highest population of Nigerians in the Dallas Fort Worth
Oh,
area.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I,
Mm.
You're
yeah.
more than welcome to come. You are more.
Dallas,
I'll
Dallas.
run your
My
restaurant
people, my
for
people,
you.
my people are in Dallas. My people are in Atlanta. But check what. One of the things that Amarachi is all about, really, is going into places where we aren't.
uniqueness.
And
Where you're
and
not
and Miami and Fort Lauderdale, you can't. We're just not
saturated.
there.
I will tell you,
We're not there. We're not there in the
Oh,
numbers. We
really?
don't have a presence. So
and
to go there
the
and make a
Caribbean
presence
community is not
is very
that good.
important.
Is not good in Miami and Tampa either.
No, no, every community in New York is not good. That's with any place.
Yeah, no. I mean,
You have
I'm talking about in food, just in food, because even some of the Caribbean options, my parents are in Florida as well, and so it's like
it's
pseudo
different.
Caribbean.
Yeah, it's different.
It's
It's
only
different.
one or
And
two.
and what I've looked at, like you said, they're on a certain level, and that's because of capital. You don't have people that's had $1 million and established a restaurant. You have people
Or with
that
the
literally
yeah.
work with their life savings, their retirement. So it's the restaurants there and the food that I've seen there
Mhm.
are modest,
Nothing
are very
comparable.
modest. Then you
That,
can't.
that is why I know we're going to move in transition into politics, but before we close, that is why some of the top performing Caribbean and Black owned restaurants in New York City and Brooklyn are now in Atlanta because of the cost of living, right? So Negril, you've got Negril ATL now. You've got the son who ran Soko. He's got two restaurants in
Yes,
Atlanta.
I heard about
You've
Wow.
got BK Lobster, which is a chain here. They're in
Mhm.
Atlanta.
Red Roosters in Miami, by the way.
Yep. Footprints been in Miami for
Mm.
a while. They were one of the first to go down there in Alpharetta, something like that.
Alfred, okay.
Yeah,
Georgia.
but there are a lot of businesses that start here because it's that whole adage: if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And once you've created, you have that boilerplate template that you can just drop down in other places.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
know, just know, Bub, that wherever you land, you go ahead and knock on the door, and
No,
I'm gonna be
but listen, that's how
I
we
need
roll.
my
That
chickpeas and my
listen,
jollof
that's how
rice.
we roll. That's how we bring a caravan, we bring a team. But
yes.
New York has to be very careful about what they're doing because they are driving a lot of good people away.
And the real estate costs here, Brooklyn is still the most expensive place really to live. You
Yeah.
know,
Of
like
course.
if you find a brand new house, they're talking about the market is just it's kind of saturated. They cannot make the houses fast enough to sell because it is the place to be.
But what I'm going to say for someone living in an open state is that there, and I think I said this before, there has to be a happy medium between the, I mean, because I'm on the extreme and New York is on the extreme. There
Right.
has to be something. I mean, Bub, I am not going to say that just free for all. I will not say that, but I do think New York is crazy right now. Like literally, let me see your vaccine card. Let me see your this.
You
Let
know,
me see your that.
it
Over and
Mm.
over.
it didn't change this November. All international travelers coming into New York have to show proof of vaccination. And I don't know if you guys heard, and you're in the travel industry, they're now putting in facial recognition that will take you from the entrance gate of the airport through the TSA line, through what's it called? Customs,
Mhm.
immigration, all the way out.
And that's expected. That's been in movies forever.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
your vaccination is attached to that.
to
And
that. Yeah.
so in November, the UK can now travel to the United States, but to come into New York, which I don't know if people are going to be slick and fly into Pennsylvania or fly into
Or
DC.
Jersey.
But look, and let me just offer you guys this, right? When you talk about and this is what that bothers me about this whole thing is because all these things are continue to be systems that suppress and how can I say it that victimize people of color.
Yeah,
America, right,
That's what we was
has been
brought. That's
trying
what we
has
was
been
made on.
hold on. America has been trying to solve this immigration problem.
for
Guess what?
years.
Right? They know people of color have very low vaccination rates. So guess what? They passed this law without zero resistance,
Yep.
right? Which effectively ends the opportunity for millions and billions of people of color who want to travel to this country. That's out the question. Staying in Africa, stay in the Caribbean. We don't want you here.
Or developing a way to circumvent.
Europe, all of you guys, you're welcome to come in. This is backdoor racism, and that's why I said we have to be careful for the things that we support because this does not promote commerce for
Mhm.
No,
Africans.
it's gonna
This,
kill
Uh-huh.
it.
this is destabilizing for us.
Bring
Mhm.
us
So
your, bring
Africans
us your
can't travel
tired,
here.
you're hungry, you're that's
No,
not.
no,
It ain't none of
they
that.
don't. They don't want none of that. They
They
don't
don't
want none
want
of
none
that.
of that.
They
Yeah.
know who they're targeting, and they use these systems. It's the same thing with the restaurants. A white restaurant downtown that don't want to see black people, they got the best thing they ever wanted because they know most black folks don't have vaccination cards, and they can harass them
Mhm.
and kick you out of their restaurant.
Yeah.
This is reverse. I mean,
It's
not
not
reverse.
reverse. It's just
This is
racism.
segregation. It's
It's,
segregation.
yeah.
It's classism. And that's why I said like this thing should always be a choice. And God bless the people. I have a whole bombshell for y'all next week if this person allows me to bring them on camera. But we'll talk about that next week. You know, but this thing is very we're running down a slippery slope, and that's why I said it broke my heart to see Eric Adams because
What did
I
he
was so
say?
I was so in love with what
He's
I've
keeping
been
he's
seeing
keeping
from
enforcing
him
the mandates.
and his political and his love for Africa and his love for our people. But for him to not understand the impact this is having on businesses, on people, is almost irresponsible.
So
You
you
know,
said for him not to
He-
understand.
no, he
Who is
didn't.
he talking to?
He didn't say he lacked understanding. It's the fact that he is continuing with the
he's gonna
man.
continue the old program,
And so to
and the
someone
old
like
program is
Bob,
horrible.
that translates as I don't give a F about you when he does.
You,
Could
yo,
it be that he's saying that
don't
to
give
get the
us
vote?
don't know, but
No,
don't
he
give us
believes it.
he,
He really does.
we
I
don't
mean,
know. I don't know what's in the man. I can't even say that. I can't
I
say
would
that.
have to. I'm
I can't say
vaccinated.
that. I can't say that. You see, I can't say that because the man I see, the man that was in Amarachi, the man has extreme sensibilities to the plight of black people, and even his struggles, even his health, even his, I think he should have a little bit different. So I was we were supposed to have an event with him, that didn't happen this past weekend, and I was gonna ask him personally, but about how he feels, but it's neither here nor there. His political position is his political position, and that's more importantly, his party that's backing him is the one setting this agenda. So half of it is him, unless he wants to go out on a limb and say he doesn't want to do it. It's going to cost him
He
his
couldn't
party.
say,
So what
but he
he
couldn't
Lead
say
up the
that until
party.
he's in.
Exactly.
what he
Exactly.
did say, when he was running, is that he believes that the vaccination, and I have the recording as part of what I used. He said he believes that the vaccination should be a person's choice. He did say that that was his personal saying when he was running to get on the card. And
Uh,
so that speaks to what you're saying, Bub, that the keeping of the mandates is it's higher
It's
than
bigger than
what
him.
he is. It is the party initiative.
But listen,
So they're trying to
that's why we had
manage,
JFK. That's why we have Martin Luther King. That's why we have Martin Luther X. Malcolm X. Sometimes you may have to.
play
Yeah,
the
But
game
they
until you
no,
all
get
died.
into the
no,
position.
no, you
They all
put
died
your
very
foot.
early.
There you go. You put your foot down
Uh,
and you live forever. But real quick, what I wanted to say is that Sliwa is the most disgusting um, candidate that could you could ever imagine running
Yep.
for mayor. I
I
mean,
remember him as a
These
kid.
angels. Those,
slime
I
ball.
remember them on the train as a
He's
kid. I remember.
He is
It's crazy.
disgusting. Ayana, you have I mean
Ugh.
he's worse than Trump. You can't get a word out. And he doesn't mind saying any nasty, stupid, irresponsible thing. I mean, why is this person in politics?
Why
But
is he
guess
even
what?
alive
But
still?
guess what? Just that stupid mandate thing is gonna get him way more votes than he would have ever got in his life. It should have been 98-2.
Nothing. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we don't. We don't know because let me tell you the whole. You know how many police officers are not vaccinated?
But how many of
Firemen.
them have died? Actually, they have.
mm,
I heard New York has a very high death rate
I'm
too,
just saying the amount of them,
and
amount
they're
of
going to support him.
select of public officials that are not
Yeah.
vaccinated that will
Yeah.
absolutely they will not they are bent they will retire before they get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Will vote for Sliwa because
Yeah.
obviously they don't want to lose their life. They don't want to lose their livelihood. So
and they're prepping for 23, 24 when the old orange haired monster comes back.
yes,
Mhm.
and they're gonna completely annihilate the Democrats in the next election cycle. But brother Jerry, please give us your thoughts.
He made it very difficult for you, Jerry.
I know. I'm
no,
sorry.
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
listening. When you talk about vaccinations and stuff like that, with my Christian background, believe some of the pastors are saying, with faith, get vaccinated.
I'm
Others who are
vaccinated.
saying, with faith, no vaccinated. So as
Exactly.
we are all saying, it's your choice. But now we all know what is happening right now. And I would say this is not the first time that we have all this vaccination and stuff like that. I was trying to make a concept about the vaccination, and it took me way back in the 1935s when mar- malaria outburst in West Africa during the missionaries movement, the apostolic church movement through Ghana and stuff like that. The story ends up to be the same. So with faith, I will take it. Another brother, Reverend Bobby, will tell the congregation with faith, don't take it. And prophetess Ayana too will say, hey, with faith, take it. And Reverend Dolatani too will say, hey, with faith, don't take it. So here we are as a
No,
resilient people.
I am vaccinated. I said to take it. Let's be clear.
Like I said, I just think ultimately,
Yeah.
I think we
So
should have enough respect for people that
exactly.
leave it up to them to
Exactly.
decide what's best
I
for
do
their
agree with
family and
that.
children.
I
And that's
totally
really
agree
where
with that.
it's at. I can't tell someone that is scared to come outside. No, don't be scared and stay home. If you feel the vaccine is
Yeah.
gonna allow you to live your life, go do it. Go do it. And we should be afforded the same level of respect. that we
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
want certain things in our body. Period. If it kills us, it kills us. It's not your problem. It's my problem. It's not your problem. I'm the one that's dead.
Mhm.
Yeah, except for
That's very interesting. Let me also talk a little bit about
Oh,
Eric.
Donatello, you want to control
I
who
think
dies and who doesn't? That's what you want
Brother
to say?
Bobby was talking about,
Our guest is
the
speaking, Mr.
elections
Jerry.
coming and stuff like that. And I like when he was talking about commerce. I would like him. I would like to give this question to him so that he answered for us. With the restaurant and stuff like that. Sometimes we need some of our ingredients to get to this country that will really spices our food and stuff like that. And we all know some of the costs are very expensive. Bringing some of the spices to this country, and it's all about the trade, the commerce. And what I would say, Eric Adams have his track record. Nobody come closer to him when it comes to New York elections. Like almost 3 decades, 30 good years, rising up from a police officer from nowhere to become a state senator. And for him to become the current first African descent, African American to be Broken Borough president. And for him giving me appointment as an ambassador is something I cherish very well. He give us the platform to showcase our African heritage. And I can be on this platform, this medium, to say during his time in office, we have had the Agua initiative coming to Brooklyn to sign a memorandum of understanding. The Agua is a system, the bilateral system, the trade between US and Africa. There are so many components that help. The full name is African Growth Opportunity Act.
Mm.
African Growth Opportunity Act. That's another system that US established to engage the motherland so that we can trade efficiently. During his time in office, we find Agua team coming to Brooklyn. Pan-African Chamber of Commerce, they were in Brooklyn. All the 54 nations. And he has also, it has really made Brooklyn as a center of trading with Africa. And the gateway is West Africa. The records are there. So as me being his Brooklyn ambassador, these are so many things that he has given to us to showcase our culture, showcase our heritage. And also he came to Amarachi. And these are some of the things that he said to us. We need to be united so that we will have a political power. So when you look at all this track records and his opponent, the Republican candidate, all that I say, New York is not looking for a mayor. New York is not looking for a CEO. New York is looking for a leader, somebody who have the keys to unlock the city of New York and who have this track record. It's Eric Adams. So be an African immigrant who has really, really embraced us by putting us together. It's very historic that during this campaign, Africans has played a very key role. He has come to our Marachi, engaged us, and he has declared African Unity Week in Brooklyn. He didn't end up there. He has come also to declare African Immigrant Month in Brooklyn. So you look at all this information. What does it mean to me as a man of color? How can we also trade like exchange programs? So he has given us all this platform and we're moving with this agenda. So lo and behold, November 2nd, if he voted to office, hey, here we are, then we will be able to trade the commerce that we're talking about. The Amarachi Bridge Street, now is the time to, read the commerce very well because trade is very, very important. So all that I would say, like, this is how I see Eric Adams working closely with him. He gives us the confidence and he does so many things for us at the office of the borough president. He came up with the key to unlock the door of no return that took him to Goree Island to sign a sister city agreement that enough is enough. Today, I come with a key to unlock, officially unlock. No elected official in this country has done that. No elected official. He came up publicly and
And
he
that is
said,
why we love him, and that is why we support him
exactly,
so much. You know,
So
exactly.
is he gonna if he wins, does he have a plan to like get a commission together or something of
we don't
restaurant
know. To
owners?
be honest with you, they have
I'm
they
asking
have
Mr.
been oh, go ahead,
I was
Jacob.
asking Mr. Jerry this,
Go
like,
ahead.
because what Bub is saying, he's literally saying my business will die if something doesn't change. And if there are a whole lot of businesses that will die if something doesn't change, and they're African, Pan-African focused and all that, it's like, have you heard, like, or maybe he can't say, but there has to be some sort of conversation, because is he not aware of what this is doing to businesses or
Uh,
restaurants?
this is a very important question that you asked. And I have been able to engage with some of the businesses, can say Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. You
Mm-hmm.
know, during the pandemic, restaurants, the place of worship, and other business, Brooklyn was the borough that hated most. So even where city was shut down, I was communicating with Bobby. But what can we do? We need to create our own system. And I will really applaud Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, their president Randy, who was able to raise certain amount of money to be able to push these kind of issues and the problems and all that. So this is a very good conversation. So we need to have our agenda of our own. So this is how this conversation is very, very important. We won't sit down for people always to come up with their policies and they push us out. It's time for us to step up. Let me mention this. Um, our November 2nd, the launching of Destination Ghana will take place as Wisville Center. Wisville Center. I don't know if you know about it. Wisville Center was owned by one of the first freed slaves in this country. What did they do? They trade among themselves. They build their own businesses. They build their own churches, and they really, really build their own houses, their own restaurants. It's right here in Brooklyn. So November 4th, hey, come after the luncheon, and we will have the competition. Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, Jollof competition. So when you come there, this history really, really marveled me because when we were in chains, how were they able to evolve by opening their own businesses? So now, post pandemic, as the brother is saying, a lot of black businesses are closing up.
And that's the
Why?
concern.
It's a lot of black
Exactly.
businesses and a lot of small mom and pops in
Thank you.
in the brown communities as well. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and I'm
And
not sure. I would not want to be um,
Layla,
Eric Adams right now because that is a lot of pressure.
Layla.
And one of the things that I'm sure is high on his priority, as many of his events as I've attended, um,
mhm.
and you wouldn't know this, Jerry, but I did my own kind of promo to get people, to vote because this is like the early voting time, right?
Yeah.
23rd to the 30th. I actually am going to go vote myself tomorrow, and I'm glad we had this conversation with Bob because, I when I think about things, and also because I'm vaccinated, I didn't think about the amount of people who, people vote with their heart and what's important to their livelihood. And so for me, being vaccinated, I don't have that thing hanging over my head that would attract me to the opposite party.
Mhm.
Um, if I'm thinking, okay, I get this guy in the office, then we won't have these mandates. But that does raise a huge concern and point of interest. And I feel awfully bad because while I think that people should have, make a choice, I also think when you make that choice, you have to understand every action is a reaction, right? So My understanding is if you don't get vaccinated and you lose your job, you also don't qualify for unemployment. If you don't qualify for unemployment, that's going to be a really hard winter. And if you refuse to get vaccinated and you don't get unemployment, and all new jobs are requiring you to be vaccinated, you're kind of, you're
Great.
kind of
Yeah.
stuck in purgatory, right?
No, you're homeless.
Yeah, and that's, at least you're safe until March, because that whole memorandum about non-evictions has been extended until March.
Mm.
Oh.
But
But how are you gonna eat? What are you gonna
yeah,
eat?
yeah, and so that's my thing.
When they start tying vaccination to public services,
Well,
like,
no, so the other part is, and I had some conversations with. There was a protest, I guess Monday or Tuesday, and I met some young people who were protesting, and they were eating at Amarachi, and they don't want to get vaccinated. They got these jobs. They're like early 20 somethings, and then I said, you guys know that if you let go from your job, you won't get unemployment. And what was interesting to me is that one of the gentlemen looked at me and he said, "Really?" And I said, no. And you may get furloughed. There are people, going up and they're filing these lawsuits, but um, think about the repercussions, because most of the jobs now, and I'm waiting for LinkedIn to create a badge that says vaccinated. They do everything else, right?
Yeah.
I think it's horrible. It's
Li-
really, it's a horrible situation.
Guys, like I said, I gotta go. Unfortunately, I have to pick
okay.
up my children.
No, no, that's
But
fine.
this
This
is
is
a
a great, great
great conversation. We had a great guest. I just love it. I just want to give everybody a minute to just wrap up their ideas. I know I'm kind of doing it abruptly, but let's do a little 1 minute wrap up for everybody. Brother Jerry, how would you like to start?
All right. Thank you so much, the host, for bringing me to this prestigious show. I'm so honored to be part of this great show. All that I would say, we all know the moment and the time, the season and the time. New York City elections. Eric Adams is going to be the second African American to be New York City mayor. But never say never. Please, I want all of us. If you don't even vote, call a friend to call a friend, call a family to call a family, so that on that day, the early voting has started already. It means so much to me. When you talk about the year of return, what we've been through as a resilient people, we have overcome a lot. For me, living here as African immigrants, see Eric Adams being the first black mayor during the pandemic, I worked with him very closely. He gave me a lot of inspiration. He gave me a lot of confidence, hope over fear, that were able us to step out, to be able to talk to people, encourage people. Natural therapy, talking to one another is very good when in this time. And here it is. New York City, we all know the number one city in the world, the number one diverse city. What is happening? We have seen most of the mayors as CEO and managers, but here is a leader. 30 years of his track record from nowhere, from poor home. We all remember during the primaries, after casting his vote, CS was dropping. What does that mean to me as immigrant in this country? That is American dream for you. Eric Adams is the hope for people that we don't have hope. As immigrant, the American dream. Eric Adams has testified it to me. He has become a living testament to me. That's why I can step out and talk to people with confidence. And that's what we do in NYC African Council. It's historical what we have done by marching the citywide campaign for African people coming out confidently to campaign for this brother. Others campaign for other candidates too as well. Hey, we all have our differences. So here we are. Lastly, as I said, the Bridge Street is bridging the gap. So I'm here. I will give one of this as a honorary right from the Beyond the Return from Ghana. They coming
Beautiful.
again November 4th, please. Waitsville Center.
That's
Waitsville
awesome.
Center. Please Google it. So everybody who
Yeah,
will
I
tap
need to
will
get
be
mine.
honored of this piece. So it's Ghana in Brooklyn. We're bridging the gap. So I thank you once again. I thank
Thank you,
you once
brother.
again.
Thank you, brother
Remember,
Jerry.
November 2nd, vote for the man, the living testament, the living legend, the living history, Eric L. Adams.
Everybody send you
Thank
this
you.
excerpt so you can send it to Eric. This is you did an excellent job.
Thank
Thank you, brother
you.
Jerry. Miss Ayana.
He had all of our minutes. So I'm just going to thank everybody for watching the video from my perspective, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I don't know, Ayana, if you want to join it.
I just say thank you for the education, Jerry. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And Bub, it's gonna be all right because your restaurant has to survive. So whatever happens, we're gonna have to make sure that your hub, as Jerry calls it, the bridge, as Jerry calls it, is someplace is where it should be. So I again thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this squad as we just share our thoughts and opinions in a peaceful manner.
I thank you all for the platform. A lot of times I share a lot of personal stuff, not because I just have a big mouth, or I just like to talk about stuff, but I feel that um, people, I look at all my friends and I have all these friends on Facebook. They don't share, they don't really tell you about what's going on in their life. But I think I have to sacrifice my information, my life, so people can have an understanding of what's actually happening. People, we're into too much theory, we're into too many hypotheses, and we don't understand real world impact. And I often have to find myself telling my story and sharing my example just so that I can drive a point home.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's not something I enjoy doing, but I feel a need to do it. And this is one of those cases. I didn't want to announce that I may be leaving, but I have to because people don't understand. When you stand with certain things, it means you're standing with other things. And be careful of what you associate yourself with because you can associate yourself with something that's causing tremendous pain and hardship for others for no real valid reason other than you just supporting a popular opinion. And we just have to be more careful of what's going on. Believe me, people have no idea what's going on in this country right now, and they continue to be oblivious to what's actually happening. And I'm saying, no matter what part of the aisle you are, start reading, start investigating, start looking at facts, start looking
Mm.
at all the information. Don't just watch one side. Watch all the sides. And don't be afraid to form your own opinion. Stop letting other people make your opinion for you. I disagree with my two sisters here all the time, and that is okay. But at least they have an opinion. They stand on their ground. Just have a ground to stand on based on information, on your own research. And that's all I can tell people. People are dying, you know, and I'm at pain watching people I know die from misinformation or ignorance or just not knowing or just following a trend. I'm tired of it. It's exhausting, you know. So see you guys next week. Love everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank you, Ayana, Donatali. Brother,